All right. So this is Todd and Alicia from NC Fit Club, and we have a good friend of ours on. Yeah, let's do it like that. So this is Erica, and Erica, I'll let you tell the story. How did we come to know each other?
Honestly, I was following you guys on YouTube for like a year before I got the nerve to just contact you through Facebook. And I think Alicia added me as a friend first, and I was like, oh my God, she added me as a friend. So then that's how I got into talking to you guys about, fitness and stuff.
And then we finally got to meet you recently at the Sean Prevention in Connecticut, which
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah, that was
Um,
great.
and you got to show Sean the picture of you wearing his new shirt that he ended up featuring on his Facebook or something.
Yeah, that was so cool. It was so cool. Top 10 moment of my life.
That's awesome. So tell it. All right. So for people that don't know, tell everybody your fitness journey. Like, what is it that got you into wanting to work out? Have you always been a fit person? Like, have you always been into exercise and fitness, or what?
You know what? I've always been an athlete my whole life. I've always played sports. I was involved in, softball when I was a kid, and I played baseball and basketball and stuff. But my real fitness journey didn't start until like right after I turned 21. I went to the doctor, and she basically told me, you are borderline obese. You need to, get that BMI down, and if you don't want to go on a diet, you should exercise or just walk. And I started to do just walking every day at night after dinner, and I did the South Beach diet. And I was really successful with it, and that was between my junior and senior year of college. And I lost like 15 pounds that summer, and I felt great. I felt really good about it, and I always wanted to go further with it, but I didn't know how, because I didn't know really anything about fitness back then. I didn't know about conditioning. I had no idea what that stuff meant, and I just kind of went with simple things like walking or playing sports or things like that. So that's how it started, and that was like 9 years ago. So
What was life like then? Like, describe how you felt. Like, did you have body image issues? Were you insecure about how you looked? I mean, what was it like? I can't even imagine what you would have looked like or what you were like back then, because I only know you now. So, like,
yeah,
what was Erica like back then?
I was a little chubster, I think. I have a picture that my friend, who I used to work with, she used to keep in her drawer in her desk. And every once in a while, she'd be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's you. You look so different," because I was a little heavier back then. But I mean, I've always kind of struggled with the whole body image thing. I still do now. That's why I relate so much to what you guys talk about in your posts and everything. But I mean, life back then, I was always so focused on school and grades and things like that, when I stopped playing sports in high school, I was like, all right, I'm taking a break. I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna graduate. And I would get winded walking up the stairs at school, and I would have to go up 3 flights of stairs every day to get to the English department, which was where I hung out most of the time. And I was like, man, I can't stand this sucks so bad. I can't breathe, and I have like this heavy backpack. And I was like, I gotta do something about that. And I kind of knew already before I even went to the doctor to find out the real numbers and what was going on, that I needed to fix it somehow.
So you were an athlete in high school then?
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
until after high school that you started to gain weight once you stopped being athletic and active?
When I started college, yeah, that's when it started. The whole freshman 15, I can totally attest to that. Yeah.
So what? All right. So then you started walking. When did some of the Beachbody? What was your first Beachbody program, and how many years ago was that?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, years and years ago, when they had hip hop abs and Slim and Six.
Tell Talk Titan.
Yeah, and I remember doing those on and off with my sister, and going through those programs just a little bit here and there. But a few years ago was when I saw the P90X3 commercial, and I came back from a vacation, and I was in Baltimore, and I just came back and I felt awful, and I was like, I'm starting this the day I come back, and I did. and I had a lot of success with that too. And then I got into T25, and Max 30 had come out, and this bod thing is great. I really like it a lot. So I've just been in and out of like certain workouts that I like, trainers that I like. Tony and Sean are my favorites.
So for people that don't know what BOD is, it's Beachbody On Demand, but everybody calls it BOD because it's BOD.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they can't find the motivation to work out. We get that a lot. Like we hear people we get messages from people all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, like how do you do that every day? Like, how do you get up and just work out every day? Like, where does your motivation come from? Or like, what motivates you to work out every day?
You know what? That's a really good question, actually. When I was in line at Shaw Intervention, ready to go take my photo with him, I was talking to this other woman who was behind me, and she was saying how she's a coach, and she gets a lot of inquiries about the programs and things like that. And she said, I don't understand why people say I don't have time to do that. And she's like, because it's just something that I do myself every day. And when she said that, it just clicked with me. I'm like, yes, that is the wavelength that I'm on, because it's just something that I know that I'm going to do every day. I have, it's set in my mind that when I come home from work, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna push play, or I'm gonna get that workout in. And because for my own sanity, that's the part of the day that I look forward to. And a lot of the motivation that I have, it comes from just always wanting to be better, and just repeating certain things in my head, things that I hear on Shaun T's podcasts, and just, motivational things that I hear in the workouts as I'm doing them. It's just something that I just do, and I think it made a lot of sense when I spoke to that woman, and she was like, telling it like how I know it. So that was really cool.
So what would you say is your biggest struggle? Is it nutrition, and if it's more than one, or if it changes, then tell me, like maybe it was one thing early when you first started and then it became something else?
Because a lot of times that happens, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? It's always been the food, and I will say that, the workouts are the fun part for me. That's the best part about it. The workouts are the things that I look forward to, and I love to sweat and get it in and feel like I'm accomplishing something for my day. But the food is always the struggle, because you're not always in this safe bubble environment where you're like, I'm going to eat this, this, and this. Other things come up where, you're at work, or somebody just all of a sudden has an event and brings like a pile of cookies, and they're just chilling out in the break room. And, you're like, man, I want to eat that whole tray, and that's kind of where I've lost my way, along my journey. And, it's something that I just have to always keep on top of. For me, I know that it's important, because if I don't, then I'm kind of miserable. I'm miserable to be around, and I'm miserable to be up here too. It's all in my head and in my mind.
So have you found yourself hitting plateaus? And how long has your fitness journey been going on? So how many years are we talking? Like, what's it been?
This is, if I'm going from when I was 21, I'm going to be 30 next month. So it's been a good 9 years.
All right. So how many plateaus, if any, would you say you've hit?
I would say quite a few. Once I, just after I started to just walk as exercise, I really didn't know anything about strength training. I wasn't going anywhere past, weight-wise, I wasn't really going anywhere past like the 160, the 158 mark. I had no idea, how to change my body composition until I started to, read more about fitness and nutrition combined, and how, you use food to fuel your body in order to look a certain way and to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And obviously nutrition, I feel like is obviously 80% of it, and is a big problem for most people, especially if you were overweight at one point. You didn't get overweight, food got you overweight. Like, overeating, obviously, for whatever reason that you may be dealing with, obviously. So I feel like, that's always going to be a struggle for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
let me ask you this, and I want, because I think people hear it from us all the time, so I want them to hear it from somebody that's just doing it for their own personal reasons. What would you say, describe to somebody who doesn't know what a challenge group is all about, what that process has been like for you, and be completely honest. Like, if there's stuff in there you don't like, talk about it. But like, I know I've seen you build relationships with some of those people in those challenge groups. So like, what's that been like for you?
It's been a lot of fun. Personally, in my own life, I've never had, I don't want to say I've never had support, because I've had support, but I've never had like-minded people in my life that I can do exercise with, or just fitness and nutrition with, for the exception of maybe one or two people. And if it is, it's just like sporadic. It's like, oh, I'll join you for this workout, but that's
Right.
it. So it's something that when I first did the challenge group, or the fitness group, or whatever, it's with like-minded people, like people who have the same questions, the same struggles, the same workouts that they do. And it's like, it's cool to see that it's any and all ages, all sizes, male, female. It's something that I look to every day. We talked about how Coach Ryan he's just all over Facebook, and he's like motivation station, but I love to see that in my news feed. It gives me like, an extra burst, and it's just been really, really good for me.
So last question, unless you've got another one, I'll let you. Last question for me would be, for anybody out there watching that is afraid afraid to start their journey, afraid of the fact that maybe they failed a lot in the past, or afraid that maybe their goal is, maybe they've got 30, 40, 50, even more pounds to lose, and they're just such a big, scary goal, and they're afraid to get started, or they're afraid to reach out either to us or somebody for support or to get help. What advice would you give them to give them the strength to get past that fear of tackling this, what they think is a monster of a journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone is capable. Everybody is a capable person. And, for me, even, that's one of the things I think about, like, you're capable and you can do it, you're never going to know unless you try. And, the other feeling is that you have to remember, do you feel good what you're doing to yourself when you're just like mindlessly eating and not moving your body? I mean, I know I don't, and you have to really, remember that feeling and have it always at the forefront of your mind that, when I do this to myself, it makes me feel awful. And then when I don't, it's actually, pretty life-changing. So it's one of the things that I think about for myself too. Do you really want to feel that way, where you feel, sick and awful? No, it's not the way to go.
And, a lot of people, and I think the reason why Sean's podcast connects with people like you so well, and one of the things that I've learned from being a coach is that helping people understand, and those of you that are watching, understand that emotional connection between, there's usually always something that changed in people's life that set them down that path. Like for you, it was when you stopped playing sports in high school and you're like, enough's enough. I'm tired of doing all this stuff. I'm taking a break. And then you didn't know at that time what that was going to do or what path that was going to send you down. And thank God you were able to figure it out and able to get back on the track you wanted to get on. And I think it takes having a conversation sometimes with either us or you or somebody, that to be able to ask the right questions and have a real conversation with people to figure out what it is, what life used to be like when it was good. So like probably back when you were an athlete in high school, you probably enjoyed being, I'm assuming you're in pretty sick shape. I mean, you were young, you were athletic, playing sports.
I was actually, I was a really great hitter, and I had a lot of power when it came to hitting, and that was my favorite part of it. But I was always notoriously slow. But it's okay. I'm good with that. As long as I can hit the ball out, I was good with that. So it's it's like what Sean says: fit doesn't have a size.
Right.
It's about performance and what you can do.
Yeah, and so it's just about getting back on the track and finding that life again, or maybe for the first time, the life that you want to live, and having that feeling of feeling good. Like you said, I like the way you said it earlier. But anyway, do you have any other questions?
No, that's good.
Do you have any other questions for us or anything you want to add?
No, but I do want to say, and I meant to say this earlier when we were in the challenge, earlier in the challenge group, when you were like, take a picture of your workout space. The reason why I got a rug for my room is because the rug in your basement.
Oh, really?
I was like, yeah, I was, because I was watching you guys, you know, early on, and I was like, man, I need a rug. I need something like that, you know?
You need something to put your DNA on.
Yeah, that's why I got a rug. So thanks for that.
No
Yeah,
problem.
either, and I'll give you some advice. Either have a carpet cleaner or prepare to replace it every month.
Yeah,
or two.
yeah. No, I figured that out pretty much pretty quickly.
Because the one we got down there now is
It needs to
way
be-
past, like
yeah,
it's
it
going
needs
to
to be
start
replaced.
growing humans out of it.
Yeah.
You can clone, like I think Tony said at one time, you could clone us off the DNA that's in that
Right,
carpet. It's
right.
nasty.
Yeah,
But well, for all of you watching, thanks for taking the time to watch this. Erica, thank you for taking the
Thank you.
time to jump on here.
thank you guys.
And for anybody that wants to reach out to us, just go to ncfitclub.com, send us a message. You'll get to know Erica if you end up working with us. And I just hope everybody out there has an amazing day or night or whatever time you're watching this. And Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys.